Just because I make the statement and sound dogmatic when I make it, that doesn't make it true, does it? That's a judgment call. And this is a judgment call, but think of the impression this makes on a freshman who's taken this course, or an 8th grader in this case, general science. Most astronomers believe, well, what's the kid going to think? He's 13 years old. Well, I better believe it too then. Isn't that what's going to happen? Most astronomers believe that about 18 to 20 billion years ago, I'd like to stop right there and point out, this date changes all over the scale. I've seen some say the Big Bang was 8 billion years ago. It ranges, you see every number between 8 and 20 billion published. The fact is, it's long ago and far away. That's what they're trying to get across. Now, one of the things I do that is extremely effective when you're trying to talk to an evolutionist or a person who just doesn't know what they believe, even if I'm on the airplane, riding on the airplane, and sitting next to somebody, we get into a discussion, what do you do? Evangelists speak on dinosaurs in the Bible. Of course, they want to know, what? I get my napkin out or whatever, one of the, barf bags on the airplane or something, and I draw these two lines. I have learned that if you just simply say 18 to 20 billion years ago, the kid reads that, the brain cannot absorb big numbers. Congress knows that. It takes advantage of it all the time. So by showing it on a graph, all of a sudden it's like, oh, wow. Something clicks between what you're seeing now and what you're hearing and what you're thinking. It all seems to fit together. So by graphing it out, on my napkin I'll make two lines, and I'll label one, 6,000 years ago, creation, 4,400 years ago, flood, 2,000 years ago, Jesus' life. Here we are today. By the way, I put the word today instead of a date because my chart would go out of date every year if I did that, right? Then I draw their graph. 20 billion years ago, Big Bang. And I often ask them the question, what exploded? And where did it come from? And the obvious question is, what was before that? But if you graph it out, all of a sudden they can see it's dumb. But somehow the visual of being able to see what they believe on a timeline helps them to realize how dumb it is. Otherwise, they would just simply believe it because it's a mental gymnastic. And then 4.6 billion years ago, the Earth cooled down, which is what the textbooks teach. And 3 billion years ago, life evolved. Some say 3.8. It doesn't matter. The concept is still the same. Okay. And then this life had to. Then you have to have macroevolution to get to various life forms. All 6 meanings of the word evolution can be found on the chart. Cosmic evolution, that'd be the Big Bang. Sometime in here you'd have to have chemical evolution, the chemicals would have to evolve. Then you'd have to have stellar evolution, the stars and planets have to evolve. They would teach the Earth was one of the last ones for planetary evolution right here. Then you have to get origin of life, organic evolution. Organic means living. And then you have to have macroevolution, changes between kinds. And finally, way at the end, you get a little bit of microevolution, variations within the kind. And from here on is all we've observed. All the rest of this is imagination. But by putting it on a graph, all of a sudden they start to see, wow, that is silly, isn't it? So the textbook tells the kids, 18 to 20 billion years ago, all the matter in the universe. By the way, the word universe is a question we should ask about. Universe comes from 2 Latin words. Uni means single, a unicycle. Verse means a spoken sentence. You have verse and prose. So a universe, the word itself means a single spoken sentence. We live in a single spoken sentence. God said, let there be. See, God spoke everything into existence. Now, everything I've ever built took effort on my part. Right? God spoke and created. I can't comprehend that for sure. That's called infinite power. When God speaks, the waves lay down, the wind stops, the dead come to life. The rocks cry out. Everything in the universe obeys His voice, except us. We're the only ones He's having a little trouble with right now, but He will fix that someday too, when every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess. But for now, He's having a little trouble with us. But He just spoke. Now that's a powerful thought, that we live in a universe. And I use it on the evolutionists all the time. We live in a universe. Single spoken sentence. This textbook says all the matter in the universe was concentrated into one very dense, very hot region. Now, stop right there. Where did the gravity come from to make it pull together? Very dense. Where did the heat come from? I mean, that's energy. They don't offer any explanation for that. They just say, boys and girls, here's how it happened. Now, they get mad at us for saying, in the beginning, God. Where did God come from? Okay, stop right there. Where did your matter come from? Where did your energy come from? Where did your gravity come from? They don't have any answers either, do they? It's just as much a religion as what we have. The point is, both are religious. The problem is, this religion is tax-supported. That's why I offer in my ministry $250,000 for anybody with any real, hard, scientific evidence for evolution. I get lots of letters because of that offer on my website. Even the billboard we put up in St. Louis, right next to the St. Louis Museum, where they have the temple to Darwin, basically is what it is. People would say, oh, no, of course we can't prove evolution. Can you prove creation? Ha, ha, ha. But that's exactly what I want them to say. I respond by saying, no, I cannot prove creation, and you cannot prove evolution. So my question is, since neither of us can prove what we believe, why do I have to pay for your religion to be taught in the schools? Shuts them up every time. Because that's a religion, folks. You believe 20 billion years ago, all the matter in the universe was in a very tiny dot, smaller than a period on a page? What would it take to put all the matter in the universe into a dot the size of a period? That'd take a lot of pressure, wouldn't it? This is fairy tale stuff. But somehow, remember, if you tell a big lie, people are more likely to believe it. When this Big Bang theory first got started, they said all the matter in the universe was in a sphere, I think they said 70,000 light years across. About 10 or 15 years later, they said, no, it was only 10,000 light years across. It keeps getting smaller and smaller. Now it's down to a dot. Guess what's coming after the dot? Nothing at all. What they're telling the kids here is, we have an explanation for where we came from, where are we going when we die, who are we, purpose of life. It's all right here, folks. They're offering the same thing. But now, it's godless. You're the result of an accident. There is no real purpose to life. Isn't that what this boils down to? We all got here by chance. Which basically means, hey, you might as well have fun, because there is nothing to life. You're nothing but stardust. This destroys kids' faith. Destroys everything about them. This textbook says, by the way, used in Escambia County, all the matter in the universe, all the matter in energy will once again be packed into a small area, after many billions of years, of course. This area may be no bigger than the period at the end of this sentence. Then another Big Bang will occur. The formation of a universe will begin all over again. A universe that periodically expands and then contracts back on itself is called a closed universe. In a closed universe, a Big Bang may occur once every 80 to 100 billion years. Talk about fairy tale stuff. What they're trying to do here is avoid the obvious question, where did the matter come from? Oh, well, it came from a previous Big Bang. You see how they're trying to do that? That's like some of the Hindu religions. Where did God come from? Well, he came from a previous God. Oh, where did that one come from? Well, he came from one before that, This is what the Mormon religion teaches. They teach, as I am, God once was. As God is, I shall be. It's one of their slogans. They teach God was a man like us, and if you're a good Mormon, you get to go be a God someday and start your own universe. So it avoids the ultimate question of how did it begin? Oh, it's just always been. It's always been. That's what they're trying to say here. 18 or 20 billion years ago, there's going to be, a Big Bang. There was a Big Bang, and then in another 80 billion years, it's going to close up and start over again. This textbook says nothing really means nothing. This guy's real smart, right? He said not only matter and energy would disappear, but also space and time. However,